people had. Well, I've had a very challenging morning. I'm just going to check that things are running smoothly over on my page. Let's just check. Oh, yes, there's a live video going. Fingers crossed. Hi, B. So it's been a challenging morning in that I have got a new webcam and all was working perfectly well, and suddenly it got to the stage where it wasn't. So we're back up. Oh, I've suddenly... Let me know if you can hear me all right. A few thumbs ups and those sorts of things would be lovely. So I've got my laptop over there running off the mainstream router. That's the word I'm using. Everything was going fine with my new webcam. And then suddenly it cut out and everything went black. So I thought it was the webcam that had gone wrong. But there seems to be some issue that I can't use either my integrated webcam or my standalone webcam and see what's happening. I don't know what the problem is, other than there is one. I've just realised I need to take something off. So, not something off, that sounds dreadful. I'm still dressed, don't worry. No, I was taking my webcam off my tripod, except it's not a tripod, but you know what I mean. The thing I use for my camera and my webcam. So the issue, I don't know what the issue is. So I've gone back old school. We're on my mobile, and you know, I'll sort it out at some other point. So and breathe. So who have we? I'm trying to. Ooh, can I? Yes, now I can. Couldn't work out how to see the comments. So who have we got? Let me just see who we've got. You know, I'll sort it. No, I was turning the volume on. I don't know. Anyway, the mobile's great so long as the Wi-Fi signal's okay. So we'll just have to see what's going on. It's been an interesting morning. I've spent the last hour trying to sort it out. This is my third webcam, and it's not the webcam that's the issue this time. There's something odd going on with Facebook. Hi, Lisa, all the way from New Zealand. It must be late-ish. I'm thinking it's like 9 o'clock, maybe. Anyway, so what this also means, so this is going to be Confessions of a Stampin' Up demonstrator. What this also means, hi Betty from Australia. Gosh, we've got all sorts of people coming from all sorts of places. 10 p.m. Oh, I wasn't too far out. Night, anyway. I'm just waiting for some Americans to come on, and it's going to be like 5 o'clock in the morning. I love it, but there's not much I would get up to do at 5 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, yes. So I had just started testing the webcam issue and thought, that's all right. Yeah, I may well go YouTube live. So what was my brain going? Yes, so I haven't actually prepped anything. You've frozen, Carol. You know what? I don't think I have at my end. I can see what's going on my end as well, so it may well be your stream. If it is, all I can suggest is you log in and log out. Do you know what I haven't done? Bear with me one moment while I just grab something, because I forgot. It's all right, back now. I suddenly remembered I hadn't put anything on for the giveaway. So I'm going to start with a bit of housekeeping. This is really for those of you on YouTube. Oh, Jane, so much better than last week. That webcam's gone back. I'm on my third. The first one was very fisheye. Then last week's was going in and out like nobody's business, trying to focus. So I've now got a static focus webcam, and it's great when Facebook lets me go live on something other than my phone. I don't know what the problem is, but there comes a point where you just have to give up. So I did. So this is why we're on my mobile again. So housekeeping specifically for those people on YouTube, because there seems to be some confusion about watching this on YouTube, and I don't quite get it. This is a Facebook Live. It's when I post it on YouTube, it will say it's a Facebook Live, and it will say what the date is in the heading and that it's a replay. And I still get comments from people on YouTube saying, I don't know if you're live or not, and could you not put the date and stuff. So, okay, today is Tuesday the 2nd of June, and if you're watching this on YouTube, this is a replay. So, yeah, and if you're watching on Facebook, if there isn't a live, red live thing up in the top left-hand corner, it's a replay. I don't know. Really, there are moments I give up, either with technology or just generally. I just don't understand. So there we are, housekeeping. If you're watching me at UK time, about 11 o'clock on Tuesday the 2nd of June, in the morning, 11 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday the 2nd of June, you're watching me live. And if you're watching at any other time, you aren't. So, exciting things today is the last day that you can order retiring things from the outgoing Stamping Up annual or spring summer catalogue. From tomorrow, the only things you will be able to order are things from the brand new catalogue or the beginner brochure. I'm not showing you the beginner brochure front because there's nothing in the policy that says I'm allowed to. So I'm not, because we're not allowed to show the inside of the catalogue. No, I'll rephrase that. The only thing we're allowed to share before go live day is the outside cover, front cover of the incoming catalogue. So that's all I'm showing you. The beginner brochure doesn't seem to appear in the policies. I think the policies were written before we had one. So this is only going to be our second one, but there are some lovely things in it, including, did you see, where is it? Where did I put it? There. Did you see my Simple Stamping Saturday? New stamp sets. I've been asked to do this thing for Stamping Up that was supposed to be for On Tour, that was then cancelled. So it was supposed to be for the Make and Take for On Tour, that was cancelled. So it's now apparently going to be used for something else. But in order to do that, I was sent all 3 languages of the new stamp set that is in the beginner brochure. So it's called Four Season Floral. And it's gorgeous, and it goes with the Flowers for Every Season suite. I love it, and if you didn't see me use it on Saturday for my Simple Stamping Saturday, you may want to go back and have a look at that, because it does give you quite a nice sneak peek. And I would say I have had confirmation that I can share. So, yes. So tomorrow, today is the last day to order from the retiring catalogues. There are some amazing bargains still. Seriously the Best, that's the thing I'm looking for. Seriously the Best Project Kit, that's the one, is like £26. I mean, it's amazing. It's less than half price from memory. So no, that's not the one I'm thinking of. That is an amazing price, but there's also the can't remember what it's called. You see, this is what happens when I try and look at botanical prints. This is ridiculous price. Hi, Margaret from Australia. So yes, that's on an amazing price. There are some amazing bargains to be had, so don't miss something that you want. And remember that any of the bundles that are in the annual catalogue will not, even if they're carrying over, will not be bundled when they're in the new annual catalogue. The spring summers will be, but the annuals won't be. So yes, don't miss out on those. The store should be up and running for customers right the way through. There shouldn't be a gap for demonstrators. I think there is going to be a gap. Don't know quite how long it's going to be. I think it's due to open again for demonstrators no later than 9 o'clock tomorrow morning UK time. But that doesn't stop you ordering as a customer and just getting your commission further down the line. So just think about that. If you are desperate for stuff, stay up until midnight. I've still got product shares available. There's information on those on my website. If you just type in product shares, it will bring the posts up. And I've also still got places. Hi, Una. I've still got places for my launch party, which happens in July. But in order to get a place for that, you do need a product share. But I've got some really exciting things planned for that. The deadline for payment was supposed to be Sunday, but I'll give you a little bit more time. It may just be a second wave of product shares. At the moment, things in the warehouse are going okay, so I will do a second product share launch ready for the virtual catalogue launch party. Anyway, let's change the subject. Hi Jan, my brain is just gone. So yes, so we're going to have a fun day this morning because I have no idea what we're making other than we're going to use the Tasteful Touches, and I was about to stamp this and fussy cut it out when everything went pear-shaped in the IT world. So hey ho, there we go. What more can I say? Oh yes, we've got the draw for the giveaway for the 19th of May, which was the Celebration Baker's Twine and Sequin combo, which is a really nice little set. So we'll have that later on. I have now, because I dug it out, I have got this week's prize ready and raring. Other housekeeping, to get entered into the prize draw, you need to share the video. So you can either share it in Facebook and type shared with an ED on the end. So you can either do it in Facebook or on YouTube on the replays. If you do it in both, then assuming my brain is working, you'll get entered twice. No one actually shared the video on YouTube 2 weeks ago, but anyway. If you are not in the UK and your name comes out, then rather than sending you the physical product, we can have a chat and you can have some of my digital product, because otherwise the postage just gets ridiculous. So yes, the postage would be more than the value of the item that I'm sending, particularly for those of you in Australia and New Zealand. But I have got lots of digital product that you can have. Thank you, Jane. So I'm going to try and flip the camera. I haven't got my usual stool, so this could be interesting. So bear with me. You're going to see the ceiling first, and I will try. Thank you, Betty. I will try to make this as smooth as I possibly can. Flip. Okay. So what I now want to do is bring in my tripod, and then it's got something to rest on. Whoops. So I'll just leave that to settle so I can see it on my screen, and then we will get started with what could be a complete train wreck. Okay, so thank you, Jane. Thank you, Betty. So that's crooked. That's going to annoy me. Okay, so while that's settling, I'm just going to grab some ink pads. I'm sorry about this. No, it's not this, it's this. I wonder if I can get that out of the way. Or is it this? I don't know what it is. Anyway, there's something in the camera that I can't actually work out where it is and therefore how to get rid of it. So I apologise. If I can work it out, I will come back to that. Right, I want that ink pad, I want that ink pad, and I want that ink pad. And oh, it's still not straight. Right, okay, so I am using Tasteful Touches. Oh, and while I remember, because it's Tuesday, the Spot Challenge goes live at 12 o'clock while we're on. And it's what is it? Masculine. It's masculine, and I have to say I'm quite pleased with my masculine one. So the Tasteful Touches, let's take that off and stick it back in here. Tasteful Touches, which I'm using for the Share Kindness. No, Create Kindness. I can't remember what it's called now. Anyway, I'm on another design team that's going live later this week. So Tasteful Touches, in the new catalogue, it is bundled with the Tasteful label dies, which are gorgeous. They cut and emboss. So you get the embossing on the outside and on the inside, so on the label and on the frame. So that is gorgeous. The bundle, let me just tell you how much the bundle is. I think it's on page 24. Now tomorrow, no it's not, tomorrow or at 1 o'clock UK time, PM, afternoon, lunchtime, I will be going live either via my mobile, or then again it may be on my webcam. I will be going live to literally walk through the catalogue. So do join me for that if you would like to have my take on how things are. Ooh, it's gone all pixelated. How is the... No, the Wi-Fi's okay. Hopefully it'll sort itself out in a moment. So the bundle is £45 in the new catalogue. It's one of those ones that's great for the labels as well, because they are just divine. So it works with either Very Vanilla or Whisper White, which is always nice. Because particularly if you are pairing it with the In Good Taste Designer Series paper. So this goes with, as I say, Whisper White or Very Vanilla. Oh, we're looking a bit better now. Thanks, B, for sharing. All sorts of people have shared. Thank you. So this is, if you like backgrounds, if you like scrapbooking, I love scrapbooking. It's just perfect. Lots of masculine cards. Some of these I've taken out already because I'm using them for photo backdrops, because they are just so good. But I thought we would make some very, very feminine and some very, very masculine cards with the same set. So, and by that I mean with the same, basically with the same products. So I'm going to start with this pattern, which is Rococo Rose and then obviously wood. And I'm literally going to be, no, I go that way, I think I'll go that way. I'm literally going to be using the same paper. So first thing to do is to get your trimmer to actually open would be nice. So I'm just going to cut some mats, and I'm going to cut them at my sort of second size, which is 3 1/4 by 5 1/2. So that's one, because then I can mat them onto the appropriate colour. So that's one. So we'll have that for the masculine, and we'll have this one for the more feminine, particularly with that lovely splodge of pink. So there we go. I have dug out some blends that should work, and hopefully, yeah, no, you see, that was bound to happen. I was thinking I'm bound to have some Rococo Rose mats cut, and I haven't, but that's all right. We can easily resolve that. So these are my neutrals. Theoretically, the neutrals are grey granite, early espresso, night of navy, and smoky slate. Oh, and basic grey. So I think because we're going bran, I wonder what, there's part of me that wants to put night of navy with it on one of those because I can things. Yeah, I think I will, just to see whether it kind of works. Who knows? And Rococo Rose, I'm going to need another sheet of paper / card. So see how perfectly that matches. So let's go 5 5/8 by 3 7/8. My dimensions are always on my webpage. So if you, no, 3 7/8. So if you go over to my website, oldstablescrafts.co.uk, you will find all the dimensions. I generally put them at the bottom of the post, just so as you know. So there are our 2 basic cards. And I'm going to put one on white and one on vanilla. She says, hoping she has... we may not put it on vanilla. We may we may be putting it on something else, because I haven't got any vanilla card blanks cut. So I think we will go grey granite. So literally we are going very masculine and very feminine. So that's going to be one. This will be the other. I'm going to do the feminine one first. So I want a scrap of this bavite. And the first thing I'm going to do is the flower. And actually I might do it a couple of times, but let's see how we go. So yeah, that will fit. That will fit that way. So bit of fluff. Don't want fluff on my stamp, frankly. So this morning, for anyone who is kind of newish to stamping and to particularly Stampin' Up stamps, we have 2 designs of stamp. We have red rubber, which is obviously what this is, and we have photopolymer. I don't know why, Jane. Sorry, I don't know why you're frozen. It's right at this end. It's not always at my end that things go wrong. I know often it is, but not always. So if you find it is frozen, you may find you need to log out and log back in again, or drop out and drop back in again. So that's the flowers done a couple of times. Let me clean that up. So yes, photopolymer and red rubber. The red rubber comes with separate labels, so you have to stick the labels on the back. I had a comment this morning on my YouTube, because I'm doing a how to set up your cling mount stamps, and that they wondered why Stampin' Up didn't do that for us. I don't know the honest answer, other than that's the light and this is the dark. They're interesting, these, because I almost think that one's pinker, and this one's less pink. It's almost like they're different colours. Anyway, I'm just going to do some really basic colouring on this because it's shaded anyway. So yes, I don't know the answer to why Stampin' Up doesn't stick the labels on for us, other than I can guarantee you it would be more expensive if they did. So yeah, I think that's kind of, and it's also where they started. When back in the day you could only get red rubber and you could only get it on wood, and it was a real cost-cutting exercise to send the labels out separately because the labels, it was just too expensive to put the labels onto the wood blocks, and I think it's just a carryover from that. Okay, Jane. Say it's running okay on my laptop, and my laptop is on, it's hardwired into the router, so I don't know why there's a problem. Had we been on the webcam, I could have understood that there could have been a problem, because, you know, there's a reason why I want, yeah, I'm going to bring in a yellow. I'm going to bring in dark So Saffron. So this is dark So Saffron, because I like the middle of my flowers to be yellow, generally. What was I saying? Oh, I was talking about stamps, wasn't I? So yes, I don't know. I don't know. So this is the dark, that was the light. It'll be interesting to see how different they come out. Interestingly, isn't that odd? It's the same ink. But when it comes out, there's more, obviously comes out at the brush end, and it's coming out significantly darker. You can see I don't use Rococo Rose that often. So, a little bit of general chat. If you are outside the UK, this is especially for you, I guess. So in the UK, you probably know we have 4 nations. So we have Northern Ireland, Wales, England and Scotland, and I'm doing them in that order, more or less sort of from left to right, for no other reason than that. My family is Scots, so there's no particular reason why I put the put Scotland at the end. Anyway, so we have 4 nations and 4 devolved governments, which, that's quite different, isn't it? Which is making for interesting times during the pandemic, because they're all doing things at a different rate, which is just so confusing. Snips, there we are. So it's fussy cutting time for those of you who enjoy fussy cutting. Don't. So I will come back to the 4 nations in a moment, but all I'm going to say is remember to move your card, not your scissors, and I am trying to leave just a very narrow, not doing it well anyway. I'm going to take away any white, so I'm going to cut right up to the edge. It's better to do very much one or very much the other, so either leave white or don't do what I just did, which was a bit of both. So yes, the 4 nations are coming out with different variations of easing the lockdown. It's so confusing. So some people are were allowed to do things on Saturday this week, whilst other people had to wait until Monday this week. Schools are sort of going back for some students, but not for others. Some schools are back, some aren't. Some had what they call inset days, which are teacher training days. Yes, I love it as well, Jan. Fussy cutting. I'm having to remember that people on YouTube have no idea what I am reacting to. So yes, there are some teacher training days, as much as anything, to make sure that the teachers are up to speed with what the what steps have been put in place to protect both them and the children going back. I don't know quite what's happening in our village. It was all set up over the weekend, ready to go, but I'm not sure whether they had students going or quite what. But yeah, I'm going to go and do a bit of investigation later today because I'm nosy. So this is really quite different in colour, and I can't quite decide which one is nearest to the original. But we'll find out in a moment. But I love this texture. It's like acrylic paint that's just been put on with a palette knife, or I suppose oil paint that's been put on with a palette knife, but it looks more acrylic to me than oil. Not that I'm an expert in either, you understand. So yes, it's all getting very confusing around here. I'm just looking forward to, of all things, dentists being allowed to come back to work, because I had to have, this is all 18 months ago, I developed an abscess under one of my crowns at the back of my mouth. It had had a root canal done already years and years ago. So my dentist said, that's all right, we'll just have to redo the root canal because it wasn't quite far enough down, which was why there was an abscess and why it therefore hurt. The only problem was they couldn't get the original root canal out. So we've had to go for an implant instead because they had to take the whole tooth out, all the remains of the tooth out. So that was fine. So we did that last year. I took out second mortgage to have that done. And it's decided to get loose, which is not really what you want in the middle of a lockdown. So yes, so I need the dentist to go back. He thinks it's just loose, nothing more exciting than that. But we're going to find out at some point. So let me. I want something. I think that might be the label I want, and I'm going to kind of retrofit a sentiment to it. The labels don't instantly go. I think it's going to be that one. The labels don't instantly go with the stamps. I mean, labels don't instantly go with the stamps, which I don't have a problem with. But yeah, just an interesting observation. Also special. So let me, is that going to be big enough? Yes. In fact, it's even going to be big enough if I do it straight. Oh, and I know what else I can add. So, you're so special. So I'm just going to whiz this through my die cutter, which is something else I must talk about. Bear with me while I feed that through. So on the assumption that there are people watching who are not demonstrators, let me just show you. Can I get this? There we are. Can you see there's just very, very fine embossing on that, but also on that. Don't know if you can see. Anywho, so yes, those of you who are not demonstrators may not know this piece of information, but in the catalogue, the new annual catalogue, we have got, perfect, we have got the new die and emboss machine, or emboss and die machine, cut machine, anyway. And there's two, there's a large one and a small one. They are not going to be available to purchase the moment the catalogue goes live, but because they are due reasonably soon, by which I mean, you know, not in 11 months' time, they decided to put them into the catalogue so that they were there. But we're waiting, we're hoping that in the next month, hi Karen, we're hoping that in the next month we will have more information about when they will be available for demonstrators to pre-order first, so that we can make sure that we've got all the wrinkles out, because it's not until people start using them in anger that things suddenly start to happen, by which I'm trying not to say go wrong. I think this one's nearer. This one's a bit pink. I'm going to use both, but yeah, strange. So yes, so if your eyes are on the new die cutter, like mine, patience, they say, is a virtue. And that's what I'm going to have to try and have, is a bit of patience. So I'm just going to put a couple of bits of tear and tape either side of the back of my mat. Make sure they are well burnished down. Still can't find the cover for my Take Your Pick. It's somewhere. Don't know where. I had lost in colour enamel dots. Found those this morning. They were tucked in between 2 packs of paper. But I don't think that's where my Take Your Pick is going to be. So I'm just going to line up the edge of my card against a line so that I can then make sure that my ribbon is straight. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 squares before my ribbon, and it then means that when you turn it over, your ribbon is basically straight. Now, if you find that you don't like it flapping in the breeze, some people don't, I get blow hot and cold with that, just tuck a glue dot underneath. So we seem to have pixelated again, but it seems to have sorted itself out. So that's my ribbon. The next thing to go on is going to be my label, except I want that framed. So I'm just going to grab a scrap of Rococo Rose and cut the same die so, oh, there we go. Drop the piece I want on the floor. That sounds like a plan. So, and it's flipped over. There we are. That might actually be easier to see the embossing. But I want that effect, but I want it top and bottom. So I'm just going to do some surgery. If you've watched me for any length of time, you will know that I like to do surgery on my punches and things. I don't like to just think of it as the basic shape. I like to think of it as something you can play with. So let's do that. And you can tell I'm concentrating because I've gone quiet. And that. So that just to me stands out against the background a bit better. So I need some more large dimensionals. So what have I got there? Small. Large. There is an inevitability, isn't there? large dimensionals. There's something quite satisfying about starting a new pack of dimensionals. Is it just me? So we'll go on each corner, as it were. Sorry, that was me removing something off. So I'm going to pop that on so that it comes over the edge very slightly, but I know that my card base is going to be larger than that. So straight, of course, would be nice. Call me old-fashioned, but straight really would be nicer. Might have to live without straight. No. No, we're gonna get there. Right. That's better. Don't like it when things aren't straight. Right, okay, so pop that on there, and then these are going to tuck one kind of, do you want a bit of that ribbon showing? Otherwise there's no point in having it. In fact, we could go, ooh, I like that. Do we like that? I know you're a bit behind me, so I'll give you a chance to react. And in the meantime, I will so either give me thumbs up or hearts, or leave me a comment to say whether you like the idea of me tucking this behind the ribbon. Actually, I'm just going to make a... Yes, that is the front. I quite often find that the front is that one end of the card is very slightly longer than the other, and I like that to be the front. Oh, this could be interesting. A cat's just walked into my studio. It is my cat, one of my cats. It's little Salty, who generally just has a little wander in and then wander out again. That is so crooked. It's not any crooked, it's not even in the right place. It's because I was looking at Salty. That's better. And then, as ever, so do we like this tucked in behind there a bit? Got all sorts of reactions, but I'm taking those to mean yes, we do like that. So a little bit of glue, Going to need a new pot of glue at the moment as well. So we'll go there, and then we will grab the dimensionals, which are exactly in front of me. Just one tip, when you've done blend pen work, as in blends work, leave this to dry before you put adhesive on, because otherwise it's not gonna stick, because the alcohol will overtake it. Right, now I have got, if I can remember where I've put them, I have got not in there apparently. Some of the retiring. This is it. I have some Rococo. No, those are terracotta tile, I think. Oh no, I think they are Rococo rose. Don't know now. Okay, we'll use pearls instead, just in case. Of course, I've got everything out apart from pearls. So pearls, and I'm going to use the dark Rococo rose. Got a stray pearl there. We'll use that as, ooh, that's quite pink. I think that needs more than one layer. Or we'll just use the ordinary, because that looks too bright for me. So we'll just use white, which I know will work. It was me trying to be classy and use a different colour. Come on. And just a little one tucked in there. So that's my feminine version, which I'm kind of okay with. What it might need is something on the inside. What it definitely needs is a bone folder. So what I'm thinking is, I've got the Rococo Rose ink pad. Let me grab a scrap of paper, otherwise known as the back of a shipping label. And thanks, Nora, who kindly shared the video. So this is going to come in just there. So we've got the rose, I don't know what it is, dahlia, it's something on the inside. So that's that. Right, so that is our feminine version. Let's get rid of that, which I've just realised is covered in texture paste. So my Creating Kindness blog hop, which goes live on Thursday. I've been a guest designer for them a couple of times now, and last week they very kindly asked me, thank you, Margaret. Hi, Rose. They very kindly asked me if I would like to join permanently. So it's always nice to be invited to join these things. So I said yes. So my first blog hop with them as a member of the design team is on Thursday. So they post every first Thursday of the month. And I want to say, thank you, Karen. I love it. It's a big pack. So yes, I think the thing goes live at 10 or 11. Can't remember. So yes, the In Good Taste paper pack is 12 designs, 2 of each. So 20 sheets of paper. So it is more expensive. Hi, Rose from Australia. So good evening. Depending on where you are in Australia, I think it's 9, 10-ish o'clock. So yes, they do blog hop as part of that whole thing as well. It's an optional, and as this week's, or this month's, I suppose it should be, design is on the theme of texture. Let's just say there is no way I could do a live video of what I've done for them. It's just not going to happen. Anyway, so that's that. So let's grab the male version and see what we can come up with. So that's that. I also want to just grab, as I've now included it, I want to include Night of Navy as an option. So this is quite dark, so we're going to need to do quite a lot to bring it up. There are various things we could do. Ooh, I wonder. You know when you have these bright ideas and then you might actually regret them? I think I'm having one of those. But we're going to go for it. So, as I say, I think it needs to be lightened. I just want to try something out on a scrap of paper before I go nap on this. So bear with me while I bring in a different scrap of paper, and this really is scrap. I just want to try something out because I have a theory that this might line up. No. It was worth a theory. That's fine. That is fine. So let's clean that off. It was an idea. I'm still going to go with what I was thinking of doing. I'm just going to do it in a slightly different way. So, not many people do this, but it's a really good thing to think about. Just want to bring that back in so I've got a sort of reference point for some things. Now, these are not in the new catalogue. I know! Oh, the other thing that's not in the new catalogue but is going to be available is the piercing mat. We don't know why it was ever not, but it is going to be available, so you can search for it on the online store. It's available at the moment, but it won't be in the catalogue. We're hoping that enough demonstrators might have complained, for want of a better word, that we might actually have convinced Stamping Up to bring it back. Don't know. So, just going to, this is white embossing powder, because as I say, I want there to be a lighter space. I'm going to ink it up again. Ooh, the lag isn't that bad today. So let's used to be indecisive and all that. Where's my scrap? So more of this. What's quite nice about this stamp, particularly for heat embossing, is that it's not meant to be exact, for want of a better word. So if you look at this, you can see it's not a solid. So this I would call sort of fairly solid. Obviously the sentiments are more solid, but this is aged. It's a bit grungy, which I think makes it more forgiving. See, I'm now kicking myself for having not gone off the edge that side, but hey-ho, that's just one of those things. And I haven't really got a big enough space to... and I've overstamped. Can you see? Happens to the best of us. I've overstamped there. And that is why I keep a dry and fairly good paintbrush available, because then you can just sweep it away. So let's pop that to one side. I'm going to pop the lid on my embossing powder. Hi, Brenda. And you know what's coming out now, don't you? It's the trusty cheese board. Actually, I'm just going to flick just to get rid of any last little bits. Now, this is one of those occasions where you really do need to have a solid something behind your embossing, because paper will curl. I think that's everything. Yep. Oh, I've just had another thought. We may be doing some more embossing. Sorry, my brain has suddenly decided it's going to work. So So that's those two bits. So that just gives us a lighter space down here, which I think it needs. And then I'm thinking, or as we used to say as kids, I'm pink, therefore I'm spam. No, I'm going to go that one. And I need, where did I put them? Over there. I had a bit of a tidy up. For tidy up read, I moved everything from one area to another. Not really tidying up. I need to have a tidy up. Apart from anything else, I need to find... Nope. I need to find the top for my take your pick. I'm hopeful. Maybe that's the one I need. Yes! Will that fit? More or less. We're going to go for more or less. Okay, so these are the Ornate Layers dies, which was the suite that was released early. So mount that up. I'm just going to take my Night of Navy and do some gutting. So given that nobody's going to see that piece, I quite like the idea of gutting it. Now this is, ooh, that's over powdered. This is only just going to fit. In fact, it may not completely fit, but we're going to live with it. So this is where I need to stand on tiptoe. I'm almost tempted to go very much towards one end. No. Yes. Load, aim, fire. My thought process, Lorna, there's a lovely thought, that I actually have a thought process. Scatterbrain, I have gone slightly low, but I'm going to live with it. It's actually very good for me doing this because I'm one of the world's biggest procrastinators. And something I have found is that if I give myself limited supplies, I actually get things done much quicker. Whereas if I go, I've got the whole of my craft studio to choose from, it just doesn't happen. So it is actually quite good for me to, in effect, be forced into making a quick decision. There's a scrapbooker who I am incredibly inspired by, who you may know, Shamel Lane. Do any of you know Shamel Lane? She's not been as active the last 3 or 4 years because she's got a son now, so she has to look after him as well. But she works on a limited selection of things. So that's that. And, ooh, and I've just had another thought. Maybe, okay, so that can then go there, on there. I've just realised, of course, I was going to put this on a vanilla, oh, I wasn't, was I? Because I didn't have vanilla, so I've gone grey granite. Yes! Phew! Okay, and there's a grey granite ribbon coming out. It's going to be gorgeous. Thank you, Margaret, for sharing. So this is from the Ornate Layers. I'm going to pop that there so that I know that that's the one I used. So I do want something And I am going to come back, I think, to my original stamp, the one I haven't yet used, which is the fern foliagey bit. So this one, I'm going to have a quick clean up because my desk is beginning to look like a bomb has landed in it, even more so than usual. So just clean those off with my chamois. Now, I've had some discussion with various people about Versamark and red rubber stamps. Well, stamps generally. Someone who said they find that it, dare I say, rots their stamps. I have never had that problem in all my decades, and I do mean decades, of crafting. And Versamark has been around for a really long time. Never had that problem. So I'm not quite sure why there is a problem with that for some people. I can only suppose that it's not the Versamark, but it's something else. Right. I'm going to go with early espresso, and we're going grey granite. So let's see if I have got anything vaguely scrap-like. That looks scrap-like in grey granite. I always like to... Sometimes there's a slightly smoother surface. Hi Barbara, hope you're feeling a bit better. So ink up that, and I might do 2. There we go. It was stamped slightly better than the other, but then that's fine. Put that over there. So while I'm fussy cutting, let's do a bit of what's been going on in my life. I've done a bit of what's been going on in the UK vis-a-vis the dreaded pandemic. Total confusion, I think, is the answer to that question. Anyway, so any of you who follow my personal feed on Facebook may have spotted that I'm in the middle of digging out roots. We had a damson tree in our garden. I use the word loosely. So our house, which is almost a bungalow, it's got a mezzanine. We bought it for a number of reasons. We obviously wanted to buy a new house, and we wanted it to be in a smaller place. We used to live in Twickenham. Well, actually a place called Witton, which is near Twickenham, but no one's ever heard of it. And we were kind of looking for the country life, which is what we've got. And we're on the edge of a village, although they are about to build on the field that's behind us, but hey-ho, it was going to happen. And we found this property. It was nowhere near the top of our list of favourites. I cannot tell you how many houses we went to look at. We had a geographic area. Glad to hear you're feeling a bit better, Barbara. It had to be within about an hour of where my parents lived. My father still lives there, so that we were within an hour of where my parents were living. So that's fine. So we looked at various places. And first of all, we looked at towns and villages that were to the right, going north of the M40. And we discovered 2 things. One, most of them didn't have any gas in the village. So you were either going to be heating with oil or electricity, neither of which in the UK is what I would call inexpensive. And the other thing that was a bit of an eye-opener was that certainly in the villages, most of them didn't have what I would call main foul drains. So they had mains water, but they didn't have mains foul drains. So you either had to have a septic tank or a, what's the other one called? Anyway, the other one. Septic tank or a, can't remember what the other one's called. Anyway, neither of which was exactly our idea of fun. We wanted the rural life, but we did want our creature comforts. So that was if we went to the right of the M40. Oh, but they all had extra high speed broadband. Move to the left as you go north, so I guess towards the west, and you get gas, you get main foul drains, and you, when we moved 5 years ago, copper wire broadband. I wouldn't call it broad, frankly. I would have called it narrow. Oh, do be careful there when you do that. That's very, very, very bendy. Oh, we've been interrupted. I'm hoping it's going to come back. You see, it seems to be working at this end. Anyway, I'm going to keep going and hopefully you will all come back. I might have to drop out myself and come back in and see what happens. So let's come out. It's still showing as being live. Oh, we're back. Don't know what happened there. Sorry about that. So I think the Wi-Fi is now playing up. Yeah, we're on very, very, very low Wi-Fi. Not a lot I can do about that apart from just keep. I think it will record all right. It may just be that we're going to have to go and catch up later. Anyway, so yes, we could either have creature comforts, cesspit, that's the word I'm looking for. So yes, septic tank or cesspit. So where we are now, we've got gas central heating. We have main foul drains, and well, that's looking better. And when we first moved in, it would take me, I kid you not, to upload 20 photographs to get them printed by an online print company. It would take 2 hours. And I was used in Twickenham to it taking about 20 minutes to do 200, if that. So that was a shock. Happily, we have now got, there's a little company called GigaClear who specialise in putting fibre broadband into small rural areas. They're based in Abingdon, which is not far from where we live. And not long after we moved in, I mean, like within a year, they came in and we got broadband, fibre broadband. Yeah, Barbara, it's the Wi-Fi, sorry. Not much I can do about being fuzzy. I've done my best. It is what it is. When you get a chance, Barbara, you may want to watch back the very beginning of this, because today has been an IT nightmare, to say the least. Anyway, so we've now got fibre to house broadband. It's brilliant. So if I can do anything on broadband, it's amazing, which was where we kind of came in with, I've got my new webcam, but Facebook won't let me go live on my broadband, my fibre broadband for some reason. So I will be doing some testing of that before tomorrow and the catalogue walkthrough, because I want to make sure that that works okay. And I would rather do it on my webcam because it would theoretically be a more stable connection. So anywho, right, nearly done. You can tell I like fussy cutting. I can sit and fussy cut for hours. Right, let's be careful of that little crossover. And then we can finish off our mail card, and then we'll be just about ready for prize draw and all that good stuff. Right, so those are those two done. Let me bring this back in. So the first thing I want to do is stick this down. So I'm going to be quite generous with my snail. Snail will not be available. It is being replaced with seal. So we're going from a crustacean to a mammal. I am told, well, we are told, that I'm doing quite a lot because I've heat embossed. We are told that seal is stronger than snail. And I know particularly in humid climates, snail has been slightly problematical. So hopefully that will be resolved with seal. But we're also getting Seal Plus, which is going to be similar to Fast Fuse, for those of you who remember Fast Fuse, which I loved. It's great for 3D projects. So that's going to go there. I'm just going to do something which may terrify you. It's going to terrify me. I'm going to cut down my label. So the way you do that is to put your... This was on one of the things that people wanted to see. So let me see if I can bring in my big shot. This is where we need the new small die cutter. Okay, one big shot. So it's just, I'm finding this too much the same width as what I'm putting it on. So to do the cutting down, what you want to do is to get your die teeth where the stitching is. It's relatively easy with when you're doing a long thing like this. And then you don't want necessarily to cut the whole way back. Let's bring it back that way a bit. So this isn't quite partial die cutting, but it sort of is. So will be all I need to do. Yes! So we now have a slightly shorter label. Don't you love it when a plan comes together? Okay. Oh, and it's spinning again. Well, I'm going to keep going because we're nearly there. So, that goes there. That goes there. My little bits of fussy cutting are going to come in there and there, which means I don't need the bit that's about to fall off. So that's good. Right, okay, we have a plan, guys. So, liquid adhesive. going to turn that over. Hi, Christine. And I'm going to grab my black dimensionals. Yep, that's fine. Ooh. Just had a thought. So I'm actually going to stick a dimensional over the end of that. There is method in my madness. And one there. Peel the backs off these. So remember, this is the masculine version. We're basically using the same products. This is the same paper, just the other side of the same paper. It didn't work quite how I wanted it to work, so we'll scrooge that around a bit. That's better. I didn't want it sticking off the edge of the card quite so much. So that can then go there, and then this is going to go under there, and I'm going to pop a dimensional on that, but on the front, and then on the back so that is going to go under there like that. And then for him we are going to, she says, hopefully find what I was looking for, which of course I buried. Those are two blue, so we won't use those. Somewhere I have got what I'm looking for. No. Oh, I know where they might be. Yes! Hurrah! The holiday gems. Because these are, I think, Night of Navy. So I need my Take Your Pick tool. And this was one of the gifts I sent out recently. Let's pop one there. One. Actually, I want a bigger one there. One there. And then this little chappy. There. Now this needs a liner, because the one thing you really can't do, well, you can write on grey granite, but I just have an issue with it. So can't decide whether to go white or prove my point and go vanilla. I've done the white embossing, but the white embossing isn't pure. No, I am going to go white. The white embossing is not pure white, so you can sometimes get away with using vanilla with it. And somewhere there I have my stamp. So what I'm going to do, you're going to think I'm mad, but then you know I'm mad. So I'm going to use this as my scrap because it's going to be covered up. In fact, I might even just stamp off. And stamp. The new punch is amazing. I will actually show that in a moment. It is an amazing punch. I do have 1 or 2 hints and tips for using it. It can be a little tricksy. So I will just have a look at that in a moment. So, come on. Okay. And no one would know that we've used the back of the card as a scrap piece. So let's just finish these, as in do a compare and contrast. So same stamp set, same piece of paper, completely different look. So this is the piece of paper, and as I say, same stamp set, totally different look. It is going to be a favourite stamp set of mine. I just think it is amazing. So yes, I know I'm biased probably because I like it, but I just think it is amazing. So let me just clean this off, and then I want to just grab some little bits of card whilst we're talking about the new punch. And I'm guessing, Lorna, you mean the one that's got the 2 label bits going into it. So that's our stamp set and our 2 Tasteful Touches cards. Let's clear the decks a wee bit and grab the punch. I'm assuming it's this one you're talking about. I'm going to grab some old card. That'll do. So I grabbed some Lemon Lime Twist, which is a real blast from the past. Thank you, Nora. So these are like, do different sizes. So we've got 1 inch, 3/4 and 1/2 inch on both sides. Don't know quite what that's trying to tell us, because it's not in the middle. Anyway, so I am going to do 2 things. The first thing I'm going to do is cut this at 1 inch. And I've done that deliberately short. And then this I'm going to cut at 1 inch. And then, how wide is this? It is 1.5 inches. Yeah. If I trim a teeny weeny bit off, it'll be 1.5 inches. So I'm just going to take a little bit off, and then I'm going to cut it at, if it's 1.5 inches, was it 1.5? 1 3/4. Okay, so if I go there, that will be 1/2 inch, and then yeah, I'm on line up. Thank you, Margaret. Right, so okay, that's obviously scrap. So we have a short piece that is 1 inch wide. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop that in. I'm not going to look, and I'm going to punch, and that's kind of okay. And I'm going to pop that in and not look and punch, and that isn't. And that is because this wasn't straight, but it looked as if it was. You really do need to make sure you turn it over and make sure that you know where everything is happening. Because particularly this one, I find, if you don't turn it over, you get a really distorted finish. It's not so bad if you've got a really long piece, because that then sits nicely in the channel. So that, even that's not brilliant. You do really need with this one, because even just the smallest amount will put you out. With this one, you really do need to turn your punch over and then punch so that you get a neat finish. So I'm going to do that. So that's that one. That's what that looks like at 3/4 of an inch. And then if we do this one at 3/4 of an inch, you see this one seems to line up okay. It's this one that is a bit of a... So that one's pretty much fine, that size. And then this is our 1/2 inch. Yes. Then this, our 1/2 inch, if we go in, this one isn't too bad. And then again, this one shouldn't be too bad. No, that one's fine. But all I'm saying is don't trust that it's going to work without a bit of a fiddle. Because otherwise you could end up with... Let me cut the end off this again. So if I pop that in and don't look, and just assume that this is straight because it's lying in the channel, not. So, just saying. So that was your public broadcast for the day on that stamp, on that punch rather. Just be careful is all I'm saying. So let's get on to some fun stuff. We have the draw. So the draw from... It's frozen again. It's frozen at my end anyway. So the draw from the 19th of May. I've got all the names in here. I'm going to give them a shake. And as I say, if you are overseas, then we can talk about giving you some... To me, that's a fault. I don't think it is a fault, Jane. Because it happens with the others as well. It's just with the others, it's not so obvious. If I did that with... something like the... Oh, I'm trying to find one that's... I can get a fairly wonky finish with that one. Let me see if I've got a piece of card that's the right width. Opening your punch would be a good idea, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it just be a good idea? That's not too bad, but as I say, I have got really bad ones out of that, so I don't think for me it's not a fault. Let's make sure these are all in properly. I'm going to refresh my feed before I do the draw, only because I'm getting the comments live. I'm just not getting the video live, so bear with me. Right, okay, so it's kind of there. So the metallic Baker's Twine and Sequin pack, and the winner is Jeanette Baker. So Jeanette Baker, I haven't seen her come up, but I will post that it's her that's the winner. And Jeanette, I need you to contact me. As I say, the responsibility for getting this to you is for you to contact me. And if you're overseas, we can talk about a digital version rather than a physical. So that's that. Now, today's prize, or the prize for today's live, is a new one of these, as in it's in its packet. So this is the Pressed Petals, what do they call it? Pressed Petals Journal. Taking pages out of. So it's not even, I've not really used it, but it's not full. Oh, you are there, Jeanette. Excellent. Drop me an email. So liz.yuille@artlover.com with your address, or let me know if you're overseas. And then we can talk about digital content instead, which I can get to you in a matter of minutes. So this, I'm actually going to use this one as my COVID-19 journal. But I think this is a time we're never going, well, I hope we're never going to have anything. So anyway, that is today's prize. So I will grab a post-it note and put today's date on it. And I would remind those of you who are on YouTube that this is not live. And if you're watching within 2 weeks of the 2nd of June, if you put a comment, shared with a D, then you can get entered into the draw for this. Or, as I say, if you're overseas, digital content instead. So thank you very much indeed for watching today. I will upload this to YouTube probably on Thursday, or for Thursday, and I'll do some close-up photos of the cards, both inside and out, so that you can see those in more detail. And then tomorrow, as I say, from 1 o'clock UK time, I will be running through the new annual catalogue. The catalogue at midnight, thereabouts, UK time. It will go live in different markets at different times. I mean, it'll go live at the same time. It's just, obviously, in Australia, it's going to go live before it goes live in the UK, because Australia are ahead of us. It'll go live in Japan first. So, yes, through my views on the catalogue, apart from the general, it's amazing. I love it. So thank you very much indeed for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, do remember to subscribe, which is in the bottom right hand corner, and give me a thumbs up, and some thumbs ups and love hearts on Facebook are always welcome too. I've had the same idea for those to give them as birthday presents. For these, yes, they're brilliant, and I believe they are reduced on the online store. So if you want to guarantee you get one, now is the moment to grab them, because they are really gorgeous, and you can tear them out. So they've got perforations. So if you wanted this on a scrapbooking page, which is what I've used them for before, you can do that. So yeah, I love them. Or use it as a shopping list. Anyway, thank you very much indeed, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Hopefully tomorrow. Enjoy going live with the catalogue.